everyone, it's Mindy Rosser from themindyzone.com. Welcome back. This week I'm talking about what it's like to leave a corporate job and move to a startup. I actually moved from the central coast of California to the San Francisco Bay Area because I accepted a startup job in San Francisco. Very, very exciting, and I love what I get to do, and it's such an opportunity. So I just wanted to kind of give a little overview of why I left and why I'm very excited to be where I am now and where I think it will take me. I think it might help a lot of you who are struggling with being in the corporate world and you're wondering, should I stay? Should I move to a startup? Startups are a little bit risky. I don't know. So this is just a very raw take on my experience so far. And of course, it's only been a month, so I can't give a full breakdown, but here it is in the early days. So at the corporate world, I really enjoyed the security of it. I liked a little bit of the bigness of it because it felt too big to fail. You know, we're safe. I know my paycheck's coming. You know, it's going to be slow, but I have a lot of connections and I've made a lot of progress within the year I was there. The frustrations I felt were that I was in a box and I felt like I couldn't use my full potential in that job, and I knew I was going to get stuck, especially in the salary department, which is very important to me since I am the breadwinner for our family and I want to be that. So salary is important and I want to support my family as best I can. So that was one of the reasons that I decided to look outside of the corporate world and look more into the edgier startups. And surprisingly enough, the one that I ended up being in is a very, very secure startup. If there's such a thing as a secure startup. But just by meeting the leadership there, by engaging with the employees, it's a place where there are superstars in charge. The sales team is far beyond anything I could have ever imagined. They're closing deals, and it's incredible to see and to be a part of. So once I did some research on the company, I felt very, very good about leaving my corporate job in a safe environment and moving to this so-called edgier startup world. And it also exposes you to a different group of people. The way that a startup works is just much more collaborative, I would say, and everybody kind of has a little bit of investment in each part of the business. You're not siloed, and I love that about the startup world versus corporate. So that was one of the reasons that I was thinking about doing the switch. And then another reason was coming from the central coast of California. And those of you in small towns would understand this, it's a very limited networking opportunity within those small spaces. So moving to a larger city, especially within your industry, a place where it's an industry hotbed for meeting people in your industry that are cutting edge. And so for me, San Francisco was the place to go since I'm in social media and I'm in content marketing. I mean, that's where it's all happening, right? So that was a really big factor for me to move up to San Francisco. And of course, the salary. Okay, what can I say? I just about doubled my salary coming from my former job. So that was a big perk. So those are a few things and a few thoughts that I've had so far after leaving the corporate world and moving to the startup. I think most of all, it's just finding your niche. Whether corporate's the place for you or startup world is the place for you. If you don't mind a little bit more interacting with people that are not in your department, then a startup might be a better fit. If you like the siloed approach that most corporations have, then corporate might be a great place for you. If you don't mind climbing very slowly and having a lot more, opportunity to prove yourself before you go out on your own, I would say corporate's a great environment for that. So stay there until you feel ready to leave if you're considering that option. So those are just a few thoughts that I've had so far since leaving my corporate job and moving to the startup world. Besides some other family changes that you may start noticing in my videos eventually, but I'm going to leave that as a surprise. So unless you've read my blog, if you go read my blog, you'll find out what it is. The Bay, the Bump, and the Gig. Just look that up and you will find out what's going on in the life of Mindy Rosser. But if you have any questions or if you have any comments that you'd like to leave, just leave them below in the show notes. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe you've had an experience leaving corporate and going to a startup, or maybe doing the opposite and going from a startup to corporate, I'd love to hear your stories. So just leave me a comment below, or you can even email me at mindyzone@gmail.com. And I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to see you next week.